What's up, baby? Welcome to Re-Frag, and today we are back from a very, very long break. This is kind of like our season 2 of the podcast. I'm your host, Drew Face, and I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm Scooter, and yeah, it's nice to be back. Obviously, a little abrupt ending on the last season or volume or chapter, whatever you want to call it. We're back. We did decide to cut it there. Obviously, if you follow Parabellum on social media, we've been up to a lot. We've got a lot to show you guys, but that kind of explains our hiatus. And I mean, there's been a lot of very similar news while we've been gone. Not too much happening, just updates on the stuff that we've missed. So we're going to cover couple of the big topics, and I mean, Drew, let's just get right into it.
Yeah, man. Like the biggest thing that's happened in our like hiatus is really this Activision lawsuit. Now, like, I've never seen the state of California sue people this often in my lifetime. Like, I've only read about it in like history books. This is this is insane, and honestly, it brings to light a really toxic culture in the video game industry. So take it away, Scooter.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we saw the sue come out from the California state, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Like it hadn't really been mumbled on socials, which is quite strange because things usually do get leaked quite early. We saw the documentation from California to believe there is a case that they can sue the company of Activision slash Blizzard on the terms of sexual harassment. Apparently, it has been one of the most toxic workplaces for from some people's statements for quite a few years now. And I mean, Drew, like we know women have it pretty shitty in esports, especially. You know, it's a esports itself is pretty new and it's still growing in gaming in general. But how do you feel about this Blizzard situation?
Um, I mean, the thing is that it's not just Blizzard that's doing this, right? It's like it's across. It's literally industry wide, like in gaming communities, in multiple different companies. And the worst part is, uh, basically what's happened is there's a case where a group of people are like accused of not accused. They're basically fucking sexual harassers, right? They're inappropriate women. They mistreat women, and that's terrible because like we just want to treat everyone equally, right? Generally, but not these fuckers, right? These fuckers are they're just trash people, and the issue comes with the original group that they're trying to sue is a group of developers, high ranking developers who are basically they're frat boys. They're just being frat boys. They're just assholes. They're they're doing everything they can to stay in power. And then the worst part, they're not at Blizzard anymore. They're at other senior level positions across like other video game companies. Like even some like amazing ones like Riot or like Ubisoft. Like they're all over the place. And that's I don't know. It's just like you can't just sue like just Blizzard. Like this is something that's like needs to be reformed across the industry in general. And I think with the walkout, it's I hope they start to realize that a union it will be a great idea in the video game industry. Just because I feel like it will make developers and companies take their employees a little more seriously. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's one of those situations where it's first of all for the women that are working in esports and are experiencing this, or sorry, in gaming in general. The saddest part is you read these statements where they're like, "Oh, Blizzard was a dream company of mine to work at,"
Oh
and
yeah,
for them to get their dream job and it to just be completely spoiled and ruined by shitty people makes it 10 times worse. Like I've seen so many people on Twitter be like, you know, I really want to be an art director, or I wanted to just be a storyboard artist, or even a concept design artist at Blizzard, and they got that role, and the hell they had to go through while there. It's such a toxic workplace. Like I think like you said, the unionization is going to be amazing across the board for gaming. I think it needed to happen sooner. And I also think people in these high positions in gaming need to be held accountable like we would for anything else. Like yes, it's one thing to go after the company, but on a much bigger scale, we need to break this shit down. Like this needs to stop. And if there's a hard evidence against people, and there's one in particular that I'm thinking of, like the riot, the Bill Cosby room, as it came out, it got leaked in a
Yeah,
WhatsApp chat. Like that shit. I mean, they've literally incriminated themselves and put it on WhatsApp, and people are still like, oh yeah, but you know, it's not enough to go after them. And it's like, is it though? That's a company party, and you're talking about renting a room to fuck bitches in, like, and it's like,
it,
and that's their wording, by the way, not mine.
it's man, it it's kind of like I don't know. I have a niece, and like, is this the world she's gonna live in? Like, and it is. Like, it still is. It's still gonna be that type of world that
Yeah,
she's gonna live in, and like, there's still guys out there who are like okay with objectifying people, and so I don't know. It's a little dreary, and the worst part is it's industry wide because those guys from the Bill Cosby room, they're not at Blizzard anymore,
yeah,
right? They're at other high level positions at Riot, at like Ubisoft, at Sony, at all these other companies, and you're sitting there, you're like, what the fuck, like, what's going on? And I don't know. It's just
and it's
yeah,
like, it's weird to think that we are in 2021, soon to be 2022, and all this shit still exists. Racism, fucking sexism, fucking transphobia, fucking homophobia, and that all this shit, and it's 2021. You know, like it's one of those weird things where you think we're so into the future from when it was first a huge problem that like it just blows my mind. And it's one of those things you don't get to think about too often. I mean, you do think about often, but you don't get to talk about it too often. And it's like, obviously, Drew, you and I are lucky enough that we surround ourselves with people that are very like-minded to the most part. And it's
for the
like,
most part.
yeah, and it's so strange that we're at this point where this shit is still happening. We've had so many historical events, yet you know it.
I mean, like even our like even Parabellum, right? Like, remember our Rainbow one of our Rainbow Six coaches we hired is like the piece of shit. Like
Yeah,
he's a groomer, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what's wrong with this guy? It, yeah, man, and the guy was 19. He's 10 years younger than me. Like, it's still happening fundamentally. Like, this just hasn't changed. Like, it's just I
it's
don't
one
know.
of those things where people always you hear people try and mention, oh, it's just the old generation, and it's like no, there's something still happening where our new generations are still learning this shit, and it's like no, this is not okay. Like it just blows my mind. And like you said about the whole uh they're working at other companies from the Bill Cosby room, like, and that's what I mean when like Blizzard, we need to go after Blizzard because it seems to be where a reoccurring problem is. But all these other companies need to take a hard look at themselves and go, how do we stop this from happening? Because you know everybody stayed, every company at least stayed pretty silent.
Yeah, and it's tough because like you can't have like how like here's the worst part about this, right? Like, there's always gonna be like someone that's gonna try to like come out and push their own agenda and use this to elevate themselves. But no video game company can do that because let's face it, this isn't just California versus Blizzard. It's like basically the world versus the video game industry and how like the industry is, right? And the industry, let's face it, it's mostly white. It's dominated by males. There's very little opportunities for women, POC, and if there is, it's like it's only super limited. It's not a high level position, and like some people are trying to make it change, but it's not happening enough. It's not happening quick enough. It's not happening fundamentally. There's no fundamental shift, and like with the Bill Cosby room, you can kind of see that like this. like this is going to continue to keep happening because now you spread it. You didn't just it's not just Bill Cosby room. It's like everyone.
Yeah,
Like it's across all the companies. That's why like no one can like no other company can come out and say we don't do this because let's face it, your video game company does do it.
yeah,
Almost all of them. By this point, it's gonna keep spreading, and it's just tough. It's just really hard, and it's a situation that well, this Blizzard Activision situation is going to continue to develop because like many people are stepping down or renouncing Blizzard games, but that's not going to change like the industry. What you got to do is like you got to screen your people better. You gotta actually start hiring people with other perspectives. Not like some rich white kid. Like not like that
yeah.
guy. You
And I
know,
mean,
it,
there's 2 points I want to touch on as well, and it's like, for one, obviously, being a white fucking dude in gaming and esports, like,
yeah,
yeah, I know I fucking have a privilege just because of the color of my skin. That shouldn't be a thing, but it fucking is.
yeah,
And
it is.
yeah, and that at the end of the day, and it's like, obviously you can't control it because that's just the fucking dumb world, but like, we need to change that. And on top of that, if you are a white fucking dude, fucking pale, fucking British skin in gaming or esports, the first thing you can fucking do is take a page from philosophy. Fucking open your ears, listen,
Mhm,
and be
mhm,
acceptance to change. That's the whole principles of philosophy, being open to interpretation of every point of view. And it's
yeah,
like, everybody needs to be like that and take a page from philosophy. You need to understand why they're struggling, why this needs to change, and why it's a huge movement in gaming, in fucking every workplace, and honestly, any aspect of life. Privilege does exist. For anybody that says it doesn't, I mean, essentially go fuck yourself. It does. Like, and it needs to change, and hopefully the next generation will change it. But it's not looking good.
yeah. I- it's not looking good, and like there's not enough movement for me to be a little optimistic about it. But like I think the shining light is that it's finally being brought to light, and maybe people are gonna take drastic actions to correct it. But in
Yeah.
this current moment, it's tough, man. It's like
It's just frustrating because it's one of
yeah,
those things like,
I've seen it for years. Like
yeah,
just not just the sexual harassment, but like people who look like me who don't get enough opportunities. People like can you name me a head of like a video game, a major triple A video game company who's black or who's who's like Latino. Like, I mean, I can maybe name you like two Latinos, right?
yeah,
But
I can
like,
maybe name 2 people. Yeah,
yeah, but like, I've never seen like a black head of game development before, and that sucks because especially when you play video games, like as everybody plays video games, man. Like,
yeah,
and like have you seen like a head of a studio who's a woman before? I only seen Jade Raymond, like, and she's not even there. Like, she's not even the head of the studio, like of Ubisoft, right? Of her development studio anymore. It's just kind of
yeah. And it,
like
I mean, so coming to the Blizzard situation again.
mhm.
I will say the only other point I want to touch on, and this is maybe a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take, but the one thing I will say that is not okay during this situation, I'm all for going after Blizzard. I'm all for going after the fucking shitheads at the top. I'm all for going after the shitheads that cause situations like
Right,
sexual harassment or, you know, racism, anything like that at a workplace. One thing I
right.
won't get behind is trashing on the streamers that play the games. I've seen that
Oh,
reoccurring so much the past couple of days, and that pisses me off.
yeah. What does the streamer have to like? Yo, like, here's the worst part. Like, when you're the streamer, you're when you switch games, your viewership dips and it doesn't recover. It
Yep.
does not recover, right? And like, look, I mean, I don't want to like streamers aren't like streamers not like the people who suffer the most in this
No, no,
situation.
not at all.
But like, yeah, like that's so dumb. Like, why would you trash like? I get like they don't want to play the game, but sometimes they have to because they feel the pressure to
Yeah.
like maintain the game, even though they know deep down they're like, oh my god,
And
like
my thing on this matters, like you said, they're obviously not the fucking the people getting it the worst in this situation, but for the
yeah,
people that are attacking them, I will say, okay, the energy is awesome. You know, you're all for the movement, and that's a good thing. But you're
yeah,
attacking the
it's
wrong
just
people.
misguided.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
misguided.
Because the thing is, one, like Drew said, if they change games, they're gonna dip numbers, and that could be their job. That could be the difference of putting dinner on their table.
Yeah,
And you know, you can't blame them for loving a game that they've played probably for 10 years and not knowing this stuff was going on. So don't blame them because a lot of the time, I understand boycotting a company, but if that's the only game you play on stream, unless you're already an incredibly huge streamer where a changing game won't hurt you, then you just can't switch games. You have that
yeah,
audience for that reason.
yeah. It's a tough thing. But speaking of audiences and marketing, we gotta talk about this 100 Thieves marketing fiasco, which I believe is a fucking setup. like,
Yes.
it's a lighter tone. I know we're switching topics because that's basically the Activision Blizzard topic will continue to develop, and I hope it uh, ends in the ideal resolution, which is fuck Blizzard. But
Yeah, and I will, before we get too far away from the subject, I am going to be dropping some links in the description below. If you've had any problems in your workplace or want to reach out and just talk to anybody, there'll be a couple of links down below to get you support just for any of the workplace harassment or just any workplace complaints or anything like that. There's a couple of links you can go to for support. We'll be leaving those in the description.
yeah, but yeah, this this 100 Thieves fiasco. I wish we had an intern this fun and creative, man. Like, you know how like amazing it would be? Like, this dude is funny as fuck. I read his tweets all the fucking time. I love this kid.
What's funny, I remember seeing him before he like kind of just towards the start of when he started interning, I think. And
Hmm.
like when he was really fresh, and he was always really funny because he was always pulling like uh the Pokemon simp card, and he would just tweet the dumbest shit, and then see him like move up and up and up, and then this huge marketing ploy where he takes over the Twitter, loses their verification badge, and I will say it was definitely planned. Like I'm almost 100% now, only
Oh yeah.
because now, during, I was a bit like, meh, 50-50, but they have so much marketing for after that it was 100% planned.
I think it was a fun creative um like plan for sure. My the thing that stood out to me the most was like, and for people who don't know, we think is a like Scooter and I have been in like we do marketing. Like I'm an art director. I make marketing graphics. Scooter's the head of media. He directs the marketing in terms of like how things should look. What happened this past like break we were gone? The 100 Thieves intern just decided, quote unquote, decided to take over the 100 Thieves Twitter account, and it turned into like a Zoomer's delight, right? Like ton of memes, ton of like trendy things being said, and obviously JHB was being himself. He was still stepping over Pokemon, and all in the pursuit of getting 1 million followers for 100 Thieves. Now this situation kept escalating and escalating and escalating until JHB changed the the handle. When he changed the handle, it lost the verification for 100 Thieves, and then that's when it finally stopped. And it stopped because I think they hit their target goal, which was like 1 million followers, and they were probably looking for 53 million impressions for that week. And I think they hit it. They definitely hit it.
Oh, easily. That was probably the most talked about thing for this whole month. Like, and I'm just, it's a really good example of marketing done smart in gaming. You know, where they're not throwing the same. Here's the giveaway. Here's a jersey. Now they did have the giveaways for after, which is why I think it was so well planned. But they just like to let of all people, you know, they could have given it to anybody. They could have been like, "Oh, we're gonna let Nade Shot take over the Twitter," which he has access to anyway. It's not that special. They could have been like, "We're gonna let Pokimane do it. We're gonna let Valkyrie do it." But no, they picked the one memeiest person that people know but don't know at the same time. JHB, people see a lot of his tweets but don't follow him. But now that he took over the account, you have close to 1 million people seeing them. And it's the exact kind of strategy they needed to boost them over the 100 memes.
Yeah, and they got it. Like they definitely got it, which was like I honestly I was impressed. I was like, wow, this is this is insane. And I think it was like obviously like maybe when Nate Shot wasn't pissed, I was like, okay, it's definitely a marketing stunt.
Yeah,
Because like
that was definitely the key seller for me because obviously verification badge one right now is really hard to get, and two, it's a big thing for a Twitter account. So seeing him be like, grr, like fake, like little angry, it's like, yeah, okay,
I'm not that mad. Like,
yeah,
you did your job.
that
I'm
definitely
gonna
gave it
talk to
away.
your mom. We're like, okay.
Yeah,
Talk to your
that
mom.
was definitely the seller part. I think. I mean, yeah, 100 Thieves again, just showing us how to do it right.
How to be like the big thing is what a lot of esports companies don't understand is building a community. When you're a business person, you're building a community, right? You're building a community that you want to stay with you for life, right? You're not just someone who's going to be there and buy your product. You're earning their trust. And what 100 Thieves has done is showed people that like there's an organic way to do it, and they did. They hit their target audience. They understand how to appeal to said target audience, and it was awesome. It was quite. I was very happy that like this type of experimental marketing still existed and is being used in 100 Thieves, which is really fun. It was really great.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna be all for today. Pretty shorter episode, but you know we got some pretty good info, and again, all those links that we talked about will be in the description below. Don't
Yeah.
forget to follow us on Twitter at the Re-Frag TV. And Drew, any last words?
Uh, well, we're back, baby. We're fucking back.
And we'll be
We're
back.
not going anywhere. Not yet.
Not
Until I
yet.
get fired.
No, until they get rid of us. Yeah, but we'll be back on Friday. We'll be back with another episode. And you know, if you want to join in the conversation, don't forget to tweet us.